six, seven, eight, nothing on a weekend. Level of success could be I challenge them this week to, in the first half, I want 50 completed passes. In the second half, I want 12 touches in the opposition 18-yard box. And we could have lost the game 5-0, but if they executed what I've asked them, that's a level of success for me, not necessarily winning the game. With the increase of numbers, it is my job to challenge every single player based on where they are developing currently. So, if your player is dominating training sessions, looks bored when it comes to games, my job and Ivan's job and the other coaches' jobs are going to be then, okay, what do we need to do in order to continue to test that player? Maybe that player is pulled out of the 2011s for a week and is given the opportunity to go train with the 2010s. Conversely, a player may be struggling for whatever reason, and we may say, listen, last week you played in a red game. This week, you're going to go play in a white game. Or a white player has been showing exceeding improvement. Hey, this week, you're going to go play in a red game. A red player, you may not see a red player for a couple of weeks. Or you may not see a particular player for a couple of weeks. That's because maybe I've pulled them out and I'm testing them and I'm throwing them in with the 2010s or something like that. So all those decisions. So to make it easy for everybody, here's what will happen. Every Thursday night of a game week, you will receive an email from me. And in that email will be rosters of where your player has been assigned to for the upcoming weekend games. Okay? So it'll say players A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're playing in the white game. Players I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. You're playing in the red game. Doesn't mean it'll be the same the following week. Various factors will go into determining whether, that stays the same or changes. Okay? Does that make sense? Looks like you're writing notes, Jan, so go ahead if I didn't address that effectively. Sorry, you're muted.
No, I appreciate the answer. Thursday is what it is, right? It's sometimes a bit difficult to then plan other things for the family, but yeah, all right. I'm going to pause for a second, see if I'll be with questions as well. I'm sure I'll have more later.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else, please? So there's an answer in the chat, and who exactly are the coaches? Will Anthony longer be the coach? No, Anthony will be the coach. I am prefacing that by saying I have given Anthony a mandate, nothing that is a secret, that he must go and get his licenses simply because this is not an unsanctioned program. This is a sanctioned program through Ontario Soccer. Every single coach that appears on the sideline is a sanctioned program, must be licensed. Okay? Must have their soccer licenses. Second, our insurance company will not provide us with coverage unless all of our coaches are licensed, because they know that is a stipulation from Ontario Soccer. So this is not new news, this is old news, and this instruction was given over 18 months ago. Okay? So where Anthony can't be there for whatever reason, because either his course load or he's got a class that night or for whatever reason, then you'll have me there or one of the other coaches. Okay. I hope that answers that question in the chat. Okay. Layla, you have your hand up. Go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, Wayne. Hi, everyone. My name is Layla Blaza. I'm new to the team. My son is Jack. In regards to missing training, so I echo Jan's comments. Thank you very much for having this. This is super valuable to us, and especially for those who are new, as we get to learn the team structure. And in terms of missing training, so using your example of what was missed, right? So you called it wall passes. So two kind of part questions. One, when we miss training, so we missed training yesterday. Jack is sick, with fever and cough. Should we reach out and send a preemptive note when our child is away? That's number one, because in our old club we did that. I don't know if we need to. And then the second part is there value in collecting that information? So knowing what was missed. Oftentimes, we can't, being sick is not something that we can control, but we could have conversations about what was missed.
Yeah.
So that when he returns, he understands where the gap in his skill set is. Maybe he can, preemptively chat with his friends or his coaches, so that he can take that initiative. When the weather gets nicer, it's easier to, for lack of a better term, make up for that practice independently, meaning go with your parents or whoever to practice the skill set. But in the winter time, should we be having those conversations with them, or rather initiating them with you and passing them on to our kids when they miss practice?
Yeah, great question. I think first and foremost, yes, utilize Team Snap for the availability. That will give us an idea. So generally, here's how I work. And again, because a lot of you, this is going to be the first time that you're going to be seeing me full time with your team, because generally I'm with the older teams. But now that you're going to see me full time, again, you're going to sort of have to get used to how I work, and I'm going to have to get used to some of the intricacies of the parent group. So yes, first and foremost, yes, go ahead and update Team Snap whenever possible. If for whatever reason you haven't been able to, a quick text to let me know that you're missing, it's not a problem. You'll find that if I don't see, I'm gonna use Asher as an example. Asher is at 99.999% of everything we do. Okay, so if I get to a training session or a game and I haven't heard from Paul with an email or a text, 10 minutes in, I'm gonna panic and I'm gonna call, because my first thing is, I hope they're okay, right? That there hasn't been an accident, something hasn't happened, It just kind of eases my mind that everything is on the up and up. So whenever possible, yes, please let me know. In terms of if you've missed a particular curriculum, so again, you guys are going to get to know the way that I work. I don't do what I call helter-skelter training, okay? So the last 2 training sessions, whether I did it or I gave instructions to the other coaches, really the theme of the session was combination play, okay? Possession to be able to combine with players, okay? I generally do topics for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. So I'm not going to do combination play, say, yesterday, where we were working on wall passes, and then next session, I go and I do shooting. To me, that's not how you develop kids. That's helter-skelter. They're not going to do addition today in school and then tomorrow go on to fractions. It's going to be over a period of time until they've reached a level of competency, and then you move on to the next topic. So if they know today was combination play, because I always talk to the players and explain to them what we're doing and why. If we're doing combination play on Tuesday, guarantee you it's going to be some sort of combination play again on Thursday. Guarantee it's going to be some sort of combination play on Sunday. So that even if they miss one out of that 3 days, it's not going to be that big of a detriment. Because the phase topic is going to be the same. The delivery of the session may be a little bit different. So I won't do the same session 3 days in a row. Very rare that I do something like that. However, I will cover the same topic. So them missing one session is not going to be that much of a detriment. As it relates to, and this ties into perfectly the next topic that I was going to get into, which is my expectations for the group. And I'm not that big of a, again, I'm not a dictator, so I am flexible. Meaning, there are hard and fast rules that I have for the teams that I'm involved with, and this mandate now has gone to Ivan, and he's going to put the mandate in with all the teams. And they are this. If you miss one training session leading up to the week of a game, chances are your player may not start the game that he's scheduled to play in. Okay? If they miss 2 training sessions that week, possibility is they may not play the first half of the game that they're scheduled. If they miss the entire week of training, chances are they won't be selected to play in that weekend's game. Now, you may ask, well, you know, I missed training because there was an emergency, or I got stuck at work. Totally understandable. And again, I'm not a dictator. The reason why I put those rules in place is that everybody is aware and know what the rules are and know what the consequences. If I say, okay, you got stuck at work, so you couldn't come today, that's okay. But then tomorrow, somebody slept in and couldn't drive their child, and that's not okay. We start to go down a slippery slope. All right? So the rules are what the rules are. And I think everybody will appreciate the fact that we all operate at the same level. It's worked for me. I've been doing this over 20 years. Once everybody knows what the rules are, they know there's no line stepping, it works great. Okay? And you will get this in the code of conduct if you haven't already gotten it. Okay? Questions about that? So I hope I answered your question correct.
Thank you.
No problem. Dalton, let me get to your questions. I missed who the 4 assigned coaches are. Can you repeat that? So Ivan will be 1. I will be another. Anthony will be 3rd, and Bobby will be 4th. Right? So TFC selects programs or direct help with the training schedule and training session. Always can work out alternate training schedules. You just have to let me know. And exceptions to the rules, there are always exceptions to everything, but those are always very, very difficult in an environment where you're trying to set standards. So if I have expectations for myself, for the coaches, for the players, and the parents, very few times will I make exceptions, because once I start down that road, where does it end? So I'll give you a perfect example, Dalton, and for the other parents, okay? So I also have a rule that if I ask you to arrive 45 minutes before kickoff and you don't arrive during that time frame, your player doesn't start. So I have this rules with the 07s. Most of you know that I have the 07s as my group, right? Everybody knows the rules, no problem. I've had times this season where my best player was late, they didn't start. There was the one exception to that rule. We went to a game and we were playing in Darlington, okay? I gave out the directions. I gave out the wrong directions. Everybody was late. At that point in time, what do? Not start everybody? That was a mistake. Through no fault of everybody's, no fault of anybody's. That was an exception, but that was an extraordinary circumstance. Am I inflexible? Absolutely not. I'm very flexible. Again, I'm not a dictator, but the rules are what the rules are, and I just don't want to go down a road where I'm looking over my shoulder and somebody says, well, you just made an exception because that player is with TFC, but you know what? I couldn't come to yesterday because my kid had a school game. Right? So I hope that kind of makes sense. Janine, go ahead. You have your hand raised.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So you made a great analogy about math, and so I'm going to go with that, where you said, you can do fractions. So when you're, you're in grade 4, you do a certain kind of fractions. Grade 5, certain kind. You may be doing fractions, but at different levels. So I'm wondering if there's any similar philosophy for the training. Because if you're doing some basic skills and maybe some advanced skills, is there an opportunity for the kids who need a little bit more work on? They've got the basics.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this. Like,
yeah,
how
that's a great question. Okay. Again, the focus is to make sure that I'm continually pushing all the players to the level that they're at. So, within a training session, you could see a group of players. You could see all the players working on the exact same thing, but they may be given different challenges to complete within that set that they're working on. So a real simple analogy I can give is if I said, okay boys, your warm-up today is 100 juggles. 100 with your right foot, 100 with your left foot. Every time the ball hits the ground, continue your count where you left off. Okay? Real simple. For players that are a little bit more advanced, I will give them the exact same instruction, but I may say to those particular players, your juggling doesn't count until you reach 10. So you have to do 10 consecutive juggles for that to count. Once you hit 10, you're good. So you do everything in multiples of 10. Everybody else, you're doing singles, just because they're not particularly at that level. Another example could be, for instance, I'm doing the elimination game that we did last night with the players, where 5 passes an elimination, wall pass is an elimination, megs are elimination. Maybe another group, maybe the only way to eliminate players is through 5 successful passes. both groups are working on the same thing. It's just one group has more of a challenge to continue to develop them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Val, go ahead. I see you had your hand raised there, Val. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask.
They'll do the same for you too.
Okay. Paul, go ahead. I'll let you go since I don't see Val asking his question. Go ahead, Paul.
Coach Wayne.
So yeah, my question is pertaining the practice at Langstaff. I know it's difficult to find space, especially during winter. Are you planning to change that at all? Because it's not conducive. You have 24 kids inside of a very small gym, and I'm not sure how effective that training is going to be.
Yeah,
is there a plan to change it?
Yeah, on days that we're on Langstaff, those are going to be purely technical days, where it's just going to be one player, one ball, or just groups of small-sided. My other option, which I'm leaning towards if I cannot find alternate venues, is to split the training, which I don't like 1 hour sessions, because I think you end up traveling for longer than your kid trains. My other thought was having one group come 6 to 7 and another group 7 to 8. I'm trying to avoid that because me, myself, as a coach, I don't like 1 hour sessions. I just don't think that they're, when we're forced to do it because of facility issues, that's one thing, but I'm trying to get away from it, if at all possible. But you're right, the winter, especially this winter, has been challenged in terms of trying to find space because the entire city is down 3 domes. So Seneca Dome, Pickering Dome, and the Downsview Dome are not in operation this winter. So now we've had to fight with North Toronto, Vaughan, all these other clubs for the limited amount of dome space out there. Okay. Val, I know you're saying you're having microphone issues. Yes, there will be goalie training, okay? And that will be on Sundays. I don't know the exact schedule yet. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know. Okay? So how does this still make it high performance? If you could elaborate more. Okay. So Wendell, I'm not sure if you mean when I said that giving players different skills or different challenges to work on within the training session. Is that what you're referring to? Okay. All right. So, in my opinion, high performance takes on different connotations. Okay. When I speak about high performance, okay, what I'm referring to is not only the skill sets of the players, but the expectations that are also placed on the players, and for a lesser extent, the parents as well. Okay, it's all well and good to have a quote unquote high performance program, which I think we are. I think we do a really good job of developing players that go off to play at higher levels, for lack of a better word. The issue that this age group has in particular, or had in particular, is we did not have the numbers to sustain us beyond this season. And